Good evening. I'm meteorologist Hannah Messier, and we're going to discuss the chance for severe weather on late tonight and then Tuesday morning. We could have some hailstorms, but the better chance actually for now looks to be Tuesday afternoon and Tuesday evening. So let's get right into it. We have a low pressure system that is situated over the state of Nebraska. That's going to move east over the next 24 hours and cause some strong to severe storms as it drags the warm front and the cold front across the Midwest. Let's go into the details with timing. This is what it looks like. It'll look like at 8 o'clock tonight. Still pretty quiet, clear skies, but watch what happens. Midnight, still pretty quiet. 3 a.m. Notice there's going to be some storms west of I-35 at 3 a.m. Those are going to move east into eastern Iowa by the morning commute on Tuesday morning. These storms could produce some hail. You could see some hail with these storms. A few could end up getting warned. However, these storms are not really the main threat we're going to watch for. By midday, by 11 a.m., we're going to potentially see some clearing. This is important because the more clearing we get around midday, the better the chance will be for strong to severe storms in eastern Iowa. Now, right now, it looks like that strong storms are going to end up moving into eastern Iowa. By 1 o'clock in the afternoon, storms expected in our western counties. So entering eastern Iowa's western counties such as Tama County likely seeing the storms, and then the city of Oskaloosa likely seeing storms by 1 p.m. However, by mid-afternoon, storms expected all across eastern Iowa, ranging all the way north from Decorah down to Iowa City and Washington, and all kinds of severe weather will be possible with the storms by mid-afternoon. And then headed into the late afternoon, still seeing some strong to severe storms by 5 p.m. Now those storms entering the Dubuque area by mid to late afternoon. Into the evening, storms still possible across eastern Iowa. 7 p.m. can't rule out storms continuing. But by 9 p.m. we start to see things quiet down a little bit. Could still get some weaker storms, some weaker showers overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning, but they won't be as strong as that chance for our Tuesday afternoon and evening. These storms are again possible all across eastern Iowa, and those hazards all across eastern Iowa include large hail, tornadoes, and damaging winds. So that is really what we're seeing again across all of eastern Iowa. And let's go into details with these hazards. The high winds are going to be expected all the way from Fayette down to the border with Missouri, so that includes Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Dubuque, Mount Pleasant. High winds are also possible farther north up by Decorah, up by Charles City. However, the better chance for high winds will be further south in Fayette. Large hail is the other factor we're going to watch with these storms. Large hail, you see that hatched area, those lines we see on our map, that indicates the best chance for hail on that map. So that includes Fayette, Manchester, Cedar Rapids. That red area also very highlighted with the hail. Washington, Mount Pleasant. And now we move on to that tornado chance. Tornadoes are going to be possible basically everywhere in eastern Iowa Tuesday afternoon in places like Manchester, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Washington, Tama, everywhere in that area highlighted in red, and actually all across eastern Iowa we have the chance for tornadoes. In addition, we could even see some heavy rain in eastern Iowa. Heavy rain with these storms. There's going to be a lot of moisture with these storms, so can't rule out the chance for some flash flooding. Let's go into the details with those tornadic ingredients. Notice the storms Tuesday morning don't really have much of a chance for becoming tornadic, but watch what happens Tuesday afternoon. Those tornadic ingredients move into eastern Iowa, so the best chance for the tornadoes again is going to be further off to the south where we saw that map. But the Cedar Rapids, Iowa City area, Washington, Tama, Oskaloosa, even down towards Ottumwa, tornadoes will be possible with the storms Tuesday afternoon. Now, hail is going to be a potential hazard with storms Tuesday morning. So Tuesday morning we can see the potential for hail. Tuesday afternoon also, those storms are going to have the potential for hail. So hail is going to be another factor with the storms on Tuesday afternoon. Lastly, let's talk about that flash flood potential. Flash flooding The potential for flash flooding has been highlighted everywhere in eastern Iowa for Tuesday. So flooding is a big concern that we have. You don't want to drive through flooded roadways. It can be tempting. Flash flooding is actually the #1 severe weather killer. Again, it doesn't take much of that water to carry away a car. So you need to be careful with the flash flooding. Don't underestimate that. Let's go over some of our alerts that you could end up seeing tomorrow. First, we'll discuss the tornado watch. A tornado watch means that all of the ingredients necessary for tornadoes to develop are there in the atmosphere. That means you need to make your plan. You need to make sure you have your severe weather kit ready. You need to make sure you know where to go if a warning is issued. Remember that interior room without any exterior walls or windows is going to be what you need for a safe place to go during a tornado warning. So make sure you have that plan in place when the tornado watch is issued. Next, we've got the tornado warning. A tornado warning means that a tornado has been spotted in your area, or meteorologists have noticed on radar that a storm is producing some rotation. That means you need to get to your safe place immediately. That's when you go to your storm shelter. That's when you make sure you go to your interior room. Seek shelter absolutely immediately. The other thing to note, if you live in a mobile home, if you're going to live there, those are not safe during severe weather, during tornadoes. So if your mobile home park has a shelter, make sure you know where that is and where to go for that. If you don't have a safe place to go and you live in a mobile home park or in a mobile home, maybe stay at a friend's house. Maybe go to your neighbor or your friend's house that does have a shelter or an interior room that you can go to. That'll be important for people living in mobile homes over the next 24 hours. Lastly, we have a tornado emergency. These are very rare. Tornado emergencies indicate a big major threat to life and catastrophic damage, and these are issued when there is a confirmed dangerous tornado on the ground. So let's talk about receiving information about severe weather warnings during events like this. You're going to need to have multiple ways of getting information because sometimes things happen. For instance, the Cedar Rapids weather radio transmitter, so your NOAA weather radios in the Cedar Rapids area, that's down. So NOAA weather radios in Cedar Rapids area is down. That transmitter is not working, so you will not be able to rely on your NOAA weather radios in the Cedar Rapids area until that gets fixed. That means the KCRG First Alert Weather app is likely where you're going to want to get your information. You're going to want to get onto our website, or we always make sure we have the latest information there, and we'll be on air as well during the storm. So make sure you have the different areas to get information. The other thing we have to mention is that you can't rely solely on the tornado sirens. Tornado sirens are meant to alert people who are outside that they need to get to a safe place. Tornado sirens are not necessarily you can't necessarily hear them all the time from inside, so you can't rely on those to only get your weather information from there. So let's go over some things you should have in your disaster supply kit. So if you might need to run to the store to grab these tonight, if you don't have them, make sure you have extra water, non-perishable food, any prescription medications you or your family members need. Battery-powered radios or a hand-cranked radio is a good idea. Flashlights and batteries are going to be good. And your first aid kit, make sure that's stocked. Cell phone chargers also ahead of tonight. Make sure you plug in your phone so it's nice and charged and ready to go. Make sure your phone is good and charged. A whistle. A whistle is a good idea if you need a signal for help after storms have moved by. You need to get someone's attention. Maybe keeping a whistle in your disaster supplies kit will be a good idea. The other thing, a wrench, so that you can turn off the utilities in your home if necessary. Again, we'll have all the latest information during the storms, after the storms, and we'll have all the information before the storms, the latest forecasts, always on the KCRG First Alert Weather app. All right, I'm going to ask some of the questions now that I see on our Facebook page and on YouTube. So, History Today asks, how high is the chance of strong EF2, EF3, or violent EF4, EF5 tornadoes? We could see some very powerful tornadoes tomorrow. They're not out of the question. So there is the chance for some strong tornadoes in tomorrow's storm. Nathan says, the way it looks on radar, that the northern counties will have the stronger storms. Do you believe that to be true? That is not true, actually. The stronger storms for now look like they're going to be along and south of Highway 30. So the further south you are, the further south and southwest you are, that's where the strongest storms with this system are going to be. However, that doesn't mean that you are safe in your northern counties. So everywhere in eastern Iowa has that potential for severe weather for tomorrow. Hawk asks, do you think we will have catastrophic warnings tomorrow? It's not out of the question. So these are going to be some potentially strong storms across eastern Iowa, which is why we're highlighting this so many times and in so many ways. So yeah, we could get some strong storms and some strong warnings for tomorrow. Everything Nate asks, what's the best time for tornadoes tomorrow? It's going to be tomorrow afternoon. So storms are really going to start popping up on radar really from 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So in the afternoon all the way through the entire afternoon, through the evening. So I'd say the time for tornadoes to potentially develop would be all the way from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to potentially 7 to 8 o'clock at night. Brett asks, could an upgrade to a moderate or even a high risk be issued tomorrow? That could happen. The people at the Storm Prediction Center definitely could end up increasing that risk on the SPC page to a moderate or high risk. I wouldn't be surprised if that did happen. All right, we're going to go to our Facebook page to see if we have any new questions there. Looks like we don't, so we're going to go ahead and review everything just one more time. All right, we're going to start from the top and just do it all again. We're going to review everything. All right, so in review, we have a low pressure system that is currently tonight situated over Nebraska. So it's situated over the state of Nebraska. It's got a warm front, it's got a cold front attached to it. This system is going to drag the cold fronts and the warm fronts through eastern Iowa, through the Midwest, and that's going to be what causes our severe weather. Remember how warm it was this afternoon? All of that warmth, all that moisture we have in our atmosphere is going to be what's fueling all of these storms. So timing everything out tonight, pretty quiet. 8 p.m. we have quiet conditions, but notice what happens after 3 a.m. 3 a.m. we've got some storms west of I-35. Those are going to move east in the morning. These storms in the morning, the main hazards with them are going to be large hail. We could see large hail with these storms on Tuesday morning, but then we're going to have a little bit of a break. We're going to potentially see a little bit of sunshine, some clearing around midday. The more clearing we have around midday, the stronger these storms potentially could be. So we're going to keep an eye on Tuesday between 10 and noon pretty carefully. But right now it looks like strong storms are expected to develop in eastern Iowa before moving east. So 1 p.m. the storms entering eastern Iowa are far western counties. That does include Tama, includes Grundy, Black Hawk, all the way further south towards the city of Oskaloosa, starting to see those storms first. Then they're going to move east by mid-afternoon, encompassing much of eastern Iowa, all the way from the border with Minnesota by Decorah, Charles City, Fayette, down south towards Iowa City, towards Washington. Then the storms move east, still late afternoon storms everywhere in eastern Iowa. Now included in that is the Mississippi River area by Dubuque, Prairie du Chien, even towards Maquoketa, seeing the strong to severe storms by late Tuesday afternoon, and then continuing into the evening, 7 p.m., still seeing those strong to severe storms in our region. Then 9 p.m. things start to potentially quiet down. That being said, we could still have some weaker storms, some weaker showers come in after 9 p.m. Tuesday night, and then continuing into Wednesday morning. Want to reiterate this, we have everywhere in eastern Iowa, everywhere in our area has that potential for severe weather with large hail, tornadoes, and damaging winds, all factors. We could even see some flash flooding with these storms everywhere in eastern Iowa. The better chance is going to be the further south and southwest you go, though. So high winds everywhere in eastern Iowa. We can see that highlighted in orange on this map here. Large hail will be basically possible everywhere. The highest chance for the big hail is going to be in places like Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Washington, Manchester, where that red area is highlighted. Tornadoes possible all across eastern Iowa, with the highest chance for those stronger tornadoes the further south and southwest you go. So by Manchester, Waterloo, Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Washington, Tama, all those areas could see tornadoes for Tuesday. And then there's that chance for heavy rain because there's going to be a lot of moisture with this system. All right, so the tornadic ingredients with Tuesday, we're going to see some Tuesday morning, not too bad. Chances for tornadoes Tuesday morning, not great. But then watch what happens Tuesday afternoon. Those tornadic ingredients increase, especially in the further south and southwest you go. But tornado ingredients are going to be possible over a good portion of eastern Iowa. So that's why we're highlighting the chance for tornadoes on Tuesday. Hail possible with the storms for Tuesday morning. So the Tuesday morning storms could have some hail, but some hail also possible with the Tuesday afternoon storms. Watch those hail ingredients increase across eastern Iowa for Tuesday afternoon. Lastly, we've got flash flooding possible everywhere in eastern Iowa because of how much rain, how much moisture is going to be with these storms. And flooding isn't a factor you'd want to dumb down or anything, because flash flooding is one of the #1 severe weather killers. That's because it can be easy to think your car can go through that flooded roadway. It cannot. Just a little bit of water, not much water, can cause a car to float away, and you don't want to get yourself in that situation. The other thing with flooding is you don't know the condition of the road underneath those flood waters. You don't know what could be in the water that you're thinking about driving through. So don't drive through flooded roadways. Flash flooding possible with the storms Tuesday. We're going to go over the alerts again. So remember, a tornado watch means that we have tornadoes possible in eastern Iowa. When a tornado watch is issued, it means all the ingredients are there in the atmosphere for tornadoes to develop. That's when you want to think about your plan. Make sure you know where your safe place is. That's what you need to do if there is a tornado watch. If there's a tornado warning, it means that a meteorologist has noticed at the National Weather Service that there is rotation with a storm, and that storm rotation means that there could be a tornado with the storm. Now, tornado warnings are also put out if a tornado has been confirmed or spotted on the ground. So tornado warnings mean that you need to take shelter immediately. Go to your safe place. That's an interior room on the lowest level of your building without any windows or exterior walls. Lastly, we have the tornado emergency. These are pretty rare situations. They are confirmed tornadoes, so a tornado is confirmed when a tornado emergency is issued, and it means a major threat to life and catastrophic damage is possible with that tornado on the ground. So tornado emergencies especially have to be taken very seriously, but you have to take all three of these, the tornado watch, the tornado warning, and the tornado emergency, all seriously. So with these storms ahead of tomorrow, make sure you have several ways to get warnings. Remember the NOAA weather radio transmitter for the Cedar Rapids area, so Cedar Rapids and the surrounding areas, is currently down. It means you cannot rely on your NOAA weather radio right now to get that storm information. So overnight tonight, make sure your phone is plugged in, and I know this means you could be woken up by notifications, but make sure your phone notifications, the sounds they make, is switched on so that they'll wake you up if storms do develop in eastern Iowa. The other thing, the First KCRG First Alert Weather app, make sure that's downloaded to your phone. We'll also be on air and online throughout the storms before they begin. Continue to forecast for them, provide you updates during the storms, and then after the storms we'll get you all the information you need to know. I want to highlight again tornado sirens, the alert sirens. They are not meant for people inside. They are meant for people outside to know that it's time to go inside and get to your safe place. But you can't always hear the sirens from inside a building, which is why you need to not rely on them. You need to have multiple ways to get those warnings. The other thing about the tornado sirens is that they're actually World War II technology, and when we have our phones that are 2024 technology, we should probably be relying more on them. Having a disaster supply kit ready to go tonight is a good idea. So if you need to run to the store to grab any of these items tonight, that'll be a good thing to do. We've got water on that disaster supply kit, first aid kits, make sure you have batteries, make sure you've got your cell phone charger. A whistle is a good idea because that can make loud noise, and then you can get people to come help you if you need it. So a whistle to signal for help is a good idea. And the other thing to note, maybe a wrench so that you are able to turn off your utilities if you have to do that. Again, all of the information you need to know about these storms are available on the KCRG First Alert Weather app. If you need help getting your settings ready on the KCRG First Alert Weather app ahead of the storms, meteorologist Jan Reichert has created a video to help you get that app set up. So all your settings set up or everything you need to know to get your app ready for tomorrow and get all of your phone settings the way you want it to. Meteorologist Jan Reichert has that video of that on kcrg.com, and it's on the app. So KCRG First Alert Weather app at the top, if you scroll through the videos, you'll be able to see that video that meteorologist Jan Reichert has made. All right, we're going to answer a few more questions because we've got some more questions. Spencer asks what Des Moines County is looking like. So it does look like some storms will be possible in Des Moines County again. So pretty much what we've been telling you throughout the entire eastern Iowa, that'll be possible in Des Moines County. Maddie asks, is it likely to be hailing 6 a.m. with tomorrow morning's round? We could see some hail with some of the storms tomorrow morning. It doesn't mean that you will definitely see hail with tomorrow morning's storm, but that potential for hail is there by the storms tomorrow morning. Hawk asks if I can repeat what wasn't working weather-wise. Yes, the KCRG First Alert Weather app will alert you. Nothing is wrong with the First Alert Weather app. It's the NOAA Weather Radio transmitter for the Cedar Rapids and the surrounding area that is down. So you can't rely on the NOAA weather radios if you live in the Cedar Rapids and surrounding areas. So that is what we're talking about with the NOAA weather radios. Yes, and then Nathan asks, is there anything that could weaken the storms before tomorrow? So again, we're watching for that period between 10 a.m. and noon of clearing. The more sunshine we get and the more warmth, the more temperatures rise in that period of time, the higher the storms will be. So if it's a bit cloudier, if the showers and storms Tuesday morning last a bit longer, that could potentially weaken the storms Tuesday afternoon. But right now it looks like the potential for strong, severe storms Tuesday afternoon is there. We have another question from Cars Gaming. What is Cedar Rapids' probability of tornadoes? Cedar Rapids does have the potential for some tornadoes. We could get tornadoes in the Cedar Rapids area. So, yep, we could see that in Cedar Rapids. Another question, is there a chance that the atmosphere could stay as capped? That's not really what we're looking at for tomorrow. So, again, the more clouds we see for tomorrow between 10 a.m. and noon, the better it will be. However, again, it's not looking like that right now. It looks like that we do have that potential for strong to severe storms. Oh, and Cars is asking what capped means. You know what? I can tell everybody what capped means. If you give me a couple minutes, I will. I have a nice little graphic I can pull up, and we can explain what capped is. All right, we're going to talk about a capping inversion now because someone asked. So a capping inversion, this is when we have really warm air at the surface and warm air aloft. So that warm air aloft can, above the ground, keeps warm air from rising. So if it's the air a little bit higher above the surface is too warm, that warm air can't really get very high. But then if that warm air aloft kind of isn't there, we don't see as much of that, then we can get those storms to develop. So that's what we're talking about with capping. It's really all about the temperatures at different layers in the atmosphere. All right. I think that's all we have to discuss with the storms for now. However, we of course are going to keep updating the KCRG First Alert Weather app with the same information we've been giving you, and with any new information that comes into the Weather Lab, we'll have I'll be on air tonight at 10 o'clock to talk more about that potential for severe storms. Meteorologist Corey Thompson will be back tomorrow morning to cover everything with the storms, and Chief Meteorologist Joe Winters, Meteorologist Jan Reichert, and myself are all going to be in the weather lab for tomorrow afternoon covering all of these storms. So we are definitely watching that potential for severe weather across eastern Iowa on Tuesday. We're going to continue to provide you the latest information, but for now, we're going to end the live stream. Thank you again so much for everyone who's watching.